Hello, good evening. Happy Easter. My name is Richard, and this is Over and Over and Over Again. It is, of course, Friday, so it is the Arsenal Women's Show, Good Friday, of course. It's a special weekend for the Arsenal women, of course, FA Cup semi-final to come, of course, on Sunday against some team that we don't know too much about called Chelsea or something like that. I'm not really sure too much about them, but I'm sure we'll learn a little bit about them in the show tonight, of course, who we face in the semi-final at Meadow Park. A sellout that game is actually, which is fantastic news. It's going to be a great crowd there on Sunday. Of course, if you're not lucky enough to have a ticket, of course, you can join us here on the channel for the watch along, which is going to be good as well. So a lot to get through tonight. We're going to look ahead to the Chelsea game. We're going to look at some of the international games as well over the last week or so. A couple of transfer rumours we're hearing, which we will talk about as well, and also, of course, we will have our usual special features as well. Emma's got a really good quiz question for us coming up, and of course Matt with his latest player chant as well. So loads and loads coming up the other side of this. Right, we show on Good Friday. Happy Easter to everybody. Andreas, welcome back to the show. Happy Easter to you. Are you okay this week?
Yeah, I'm okay, thank you. And happy Easter to everybody. I'm glad to be here again. Looking forward to all our discussion points.
Yes, it's a big weekend, obviously, for the Arsenal women, so it's going to be a good discussion. And Matt is in the house as well, of course, as always. You're on mute at the moment, Matt, so make sure you come off mute before you. There you go.
There he is.
Happy to you as well. You had a good week?
Yeah, it's been really exhausting working during over the Easter period, so having a bit of a rest now and recovering from everything. So, yeah, it's been good, and I'm looking forward to tonight's show and the weekend as well. It's going to be a good little bit of football festival.
Yeah, well, it should be. Hopefully, it'd be good if we get the right results. Of course, that's the main thing, isn't it? You know, it's no good if we don't. And Emma is back with us as well, back in the UK as well after your holiday, looking well. Good to be back in the UK, safe and sound as well.
Yeah,
okay?
All ready to go again. Should be good. Recovered from just about recovered from my nasty cough that I had. Hopefully, it will go away completely soon. And yeah, let's get cracking. Yeah, this will be good.
Exactly. Yeah, and Russ is in the chat already as well. He says. Evening, Richard, and hello everyone else as well. Yeah, how you doing, Russ? Thanks for being in, mate. Hope you are well. And yeah, so there's only one place we can really start, and it's going to be the main bulk of the show. Actually, there's a rather big game on Sunday coming up against some team that we don't know too much. I don't know too much about them, so maybe we need to find out a little bit about the Chelsea women. Of course, we're playing on a Sunday. Now, it's a sellout at Meadow Park. I mean, that is just incredible, isn't it? You know, it's been a long time since it's been a sellout at Meadow Park, actually. So it's going to be a fantastic occasion. It's going to be, I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic game. I mean, Andreas, what are your thoughts out of this game? Because it could be, we said it before, we said it a couple of weeks ago, it could be make or break actually for the season. Whoever wins this game is going to have the massive momentum going into the final few league games as well, aren't they? It could decide everything in a way.
Yeah, that's right. It's a massive match, and it's a knockout match, so it's something more special than a league match. But before we speak about the match, I think we should just say a word about Frank Kirby. I don't know whether you read it all.
Yes.
Chelsea posted it, and she herself posted it. She's out for mental health issue, and I think in such a moment, it doesn't matter which color of kit you wear. Frank Kirby is a fantastic player. Yes. She had a lot of problems with her heart.
Absolutely, yeah.
She came back. She had a fantastic season, and she plays for Chelsea. I like her as a person, as a player, and I was very sad to read this. I would like to say, I wish her a quick recovery, full recovery, and hope to see her back on the pitch. Sorry, not answering your question, but
that's a great point, actually. Yeah, I mean, it was only a little while ago that she posted it as well, and Chelsea women have posted it as well. So yeah, I mean, we do wish her well, and it's not nice to when you see stuff like that going on. You know, everybody thinks footballers have a great life, professional footballers and stuff. And to a certain degree, they do, but it doesn't mean they're immune from other issues outside of that as well. And we know she struggled before, and it is sad to hear. And so we all wish her well, and hopefully, as you say, she's back on the pitch very soon and doing what she's so great at doing. So, but that is a good point. Actually, obviously, she won't be playing in the game on Sunday on the back of that as well, which is a shame for the game, isn't it? It might help our chances of going through, maybe, but for her and for the game, it's a shame, isn't it? And we do wish her well, obviously, as well. So,
it's a shame for the match. It's of course good for the Arsenal. That's the other side. But apart from this, I just wanted to say this. So
that's a great point.
Okay, now back to the match. It's a fantastic match. It could be a final. It's only a semi-final. Two of the three best teams of the season. Current leader, current number 2. What can we expect from the match? I think fantastic football. A sold out Meadow Park. This will be a great atmosphere, and I hope this will motivate our team more to play at home with a crowd behind them. And I think it's 50-50. Everything is possible. We saw that both teams had a great run in the last few weeks. Both teams were scoring a lot of goals, Chelsea more than us. But we are in a good run also. So I think we will see goals. I said this last time when we had the 0-0 draw at Chelsea. But I say it again. I think we will see some goals because both teams have fantastic attackers. What I expect is just a fantastic match and something that's worth watching it. And
exactly. I mean, it'd be the fourth time we would have played them this season, if you include, of course, the cup final from last season, which was, of course, played in December. But and apart from that cup final, which obviously from our point of view was a really poor game, the other two have been fantastic. The two league games have been amazing games of football. The one at the Emirates where we won 3-2 was a fantastic game, and even a 0-0 draw, there were no goals. There was certainly quality on both teams and chances at both ends, and it could have gone either way. And let's hope that above everything else, obviously we want us to win, but let's hope it is another great advert for women's football in England, because it's the two top teams, the top two teams this season, and there's been nothing to choose between us, really, has there? We've held an advantage due to the fact we won that first game, and Chelsea have been playing catch up ever since. And at one point we played a few more games and then looked like we had a big lead, but there's been nothing to choose between us. I know Matt likes his statistics and stuff like that, as we all do. So this will be the last 3 times we've played Chelsea in the FA Cup, they've beaten us and scored 3 goals in each game. So that's since the 2016 Cup final, of course, where we did win. Since then, we've played them 3 times and we haven't won. We've only scored 1 goal in those 3 games, and they've scored 9. So it's not a great FA Cup record in recent years against Chelsea, is it, Matt? I mean, can we turn that around in this game? I mean, we've done pretty well in the league last couple of seasons, maybe, especially at home. But in the FA Cup, we haven't got a great record against them, have we?
Yeah, just to add on top of those stats, it's now 3 times we've played in this season, taking away the pre-season game for the Mine Cup. Yeah. In that time, we've had 3 different venues: Emirates, Wembley, and Meadow. This is now the 4th venue in sold out stadium. So I think that's a first. I don't know if you can really consider the Chelsea one to be a sellout, because half the people didn't turn up, even though they said that they were sold out of tickets. So take that with a grain of salt if you want. On top of that, Chelsea have kept 5 clean sheets and scored 23 goals since the start of January. We know what we're expecting with this team. We're expecting I'm trying to be really nice, but I can't be nice about that Australian who seems to think she's very good. She is that basically she's Ellen White in a Chelsea shirt. She needs about 16 chances to finally put one in the back.
I agree.
And the bad news is for us that Pernille Harder's back. So she's going to be more devastated. I think she's going to prove us more harm with her in the squad than Sam Kerr will. The good news is that we're seeing Almar's favourite player back, and Mana's also
my
in training.
favourite player, but yeah, I know what you mean.
So
Really?
hopefully that's some positive signs, and they both said that they could be back in the squad. Even though Mana said that she might not be playing for the rest of the season, so that is a huge good sign. We've got a good team together. There's going to be almost a close run-in between both the teams, and it'll be a good game, that's for sure. And to top it off, it's a nice 12:30 kickoff. So if you can't get down on the tube, you're kind of messed up. So luckily it's on BBC One, so you can sit down and watch it. But if you're in the UK, outside of the UK, you're going to have to rely on either the FA player or ATA Football or some other place who's.
Or just join us on the channel here, because we'll be covering the game, so that'll be best place to we'll be able to watch it necessarily, but you'll be able to keep up to date with what's happening. But yeah, I mean, yes, obviously, I mean, I kind of agree with what you say about Sam Kerr, and I know it's probably a minority view actually, but I do think she's very, very overrated. She has 25 chances every game, and of course, if you have that many chances, you're going to score a few goals. It's inevitable. Eventually, you will score, and that's what she tends to do. In the FA Cup final, she missed 3 or 4 absolute sitters before she finally scored. Got 2 goals in the end. Makes her look great. She got player of the match. But for me, those misses in the first half, if we'd been slightly better in that game, could have cost Chelsea. And she got away with it because they won the game, and she got 2 great goals in the second half. But I kind of agree. I do think she isn't as great as everybody seems to think she is. I mean, I'm not saying she's not a bad player, because she's a good player, but is she really, her goal scoring record is fantastic, but she does need a lot of chances to score the goals that she does. And, we can't take her lightly, of course, on Sunday, because her goal scoring record against us is pretty good as well. But it is good news there, what you said about Rafaela Souza being fit again. I saw her in the training thing. So if she can play, is she going to be ready to play a match yet when she hasn't played for a few weeks? That's my worry with it. It's great that she's fit. Maybe this game's maybe come a week too soon, perhaps, for her. But it is good news that she's fit. And if she can play, that will be massive, because in that 0-0 draw, she had a great game, didn't she? Because Leah Williamson wasn't at her best that night, actually. So it was good that Rafaela Souza stepped up and was great. So, yeah, it'd be great if she's fit, but we'll have to wait and see if she's going to be able to play the game. Let's hope so. But yeah, I mean, it is going to be. I mean, it is potentially going to be a game, isn't it? Let's be honest. I mean, every time we play them, it seems to be epic at the moment. So, I mean, Emma, what are you expecting from this game? I say our record against them in the cup, certainly in all cups, actually. We haven't beaten them in any cup tie, I don't think, since that 2016 cup final. Actually, the Continental Cup as well. We've got a really poor record against them, haven't we? And since we beat them 5-0 those years ago in the WSL, we last won the league, they seem to have taken it out on us quite badly, don't they? Ever since, we've only had 1 win since then, actually, and that was the one at the Emirates at the start of the season. We're only winning our last 10 meetings with Chelsea in all competitions. So it's a bad record that we've got. What do we need to do on Sunday? I know we beat them at the Emirates, but at Meadow Park, we haven't beaten them at Meadow Park for a long time. What do we need to do on Sunday to really, get revenge for that final in December, which we're all so disappointed with?
Yeah, I'll come on to that in just a second. I mean, I'm struggling to even remember the last time we beat them at Meadow Park. I think it was in something like 2014 or something. I can't even remember long before I started following the WSL. But yeah, no, I think it's let's just get down to the nitty gritty and say, this is just going to be. I was reading a preview on, I think it was on the Chelsea women's website the other day. It's going to be the 2 best teams in the country going head to head. What more could you ask for? I mean, get the popcorn out, because this could well be a classic, and let's hope it lives up to its billing. And whereas we didn't have, we were missing quite a few key players, especially Leah not being fit for that final in December. So to have her back is crucial. And the way Jonas has put his blueprint on the side this season, you can see they look a lot more solid at the back. They look, I wouldn't say absolutely devastating going forward, but they know how to press the opposition. They need to harry them a bit more. You can see the work off the ball as well as on it, and they know they're better unlocking teams. Whereas before, maybe they were a bit. That's what they lacked. So yeah, I think that if we can do like we've been doing all season, to start on the front foot, pressure, harry the opposition, not give the ball away, be clinical. I think we can beat them. Something just telling me we could end our record, because I know you can only beat. What I was saying to myself earlier, you can only beat what's put out in front of you at the end of the day. And Chelsea's opposition, whilst the opposition has been great, I mean, from what it was around December, January time when we were going through that difficult spell, we've been really good either side of that. So, I mean, if we can show what we've been doing that and continue the way Jonas wants us to play, I think there's every chance we could beat them. It won't be easier said than done, but, let's see what happens. So we can, something's just giving me a good feeling that we can get through to the final.
I mean, it would be great, wouldn't it? For me, we just need to bury that memory of Wembley in December, don't we? Because that was such a poor performance. And yes, we had some players missing. We didn't have Steiner then, of course. We didn't have Rafael then. We didn't have Law either. So we've strengthened our squad since then. And we saw that game when we played, was it in February, wasn't it? The 0-0 draw. Kings Meadow, where, we matched Chelsea in that game. We were probably the better team in the first half. And then in the second half, Chelsea maybe got on top. But we showed in that game that we can, with this current side, with the players that we've got now, that we can compete with them and we can match them. And, and I'm sure that's going to be the case on Sunday. Again, it is going to be a very tight game. I mean, Andreas, that 0-0 draw that we were just speaking about then, I mean, that was, one, it was a fantastic game of football. But two, the way we played in that first half in particular, we showed that with Caitlin Ford on the left, with Steiner in the middle and Viv just dropping deeper, we can cause them a lot of problems, can't we? We can cause their defence a lot of problems. And at Meadow Park, probably even more so.
Yes, exactly. This 0-0 draw was one of our best matches in this season, especially in the first half. And except the last minute when this handball from Leah appeared. Except this situation, I think we were the slightly better team over the 90 minutes. And this must give us self-confidence and the trust that we can beat them. We showed that it is possible to beat them at Kings Meadow. So why not at Meadow Park? We are at home. And of course, we haven't won against Chelsea at home for some years, but we have won against any other team there, and we are strong at home. So I hope the team will go into the match with self-confidence and with a will to dominate the match from the first minute on, and not as in many other matches just wait and then come into the match in the second half. Then it could be too late, because we know how clinical Chelsea can be in front of the goal. And we had our problems with corners, with defending free kicks, high balls in the 6-yard box. So this is a problem. And just waiting and let Chelsea dominate, this wouldn't be the right decision. So that's what I mean. Go out and try to dominate. Go out with a will and show them this is our home and we want to qualify for the final. We will go through, and you are the guests here, and you have to react and not to act and tell us what we have to do. So, yeah, it will be important to go out with this confidence and trust in ourselves.
And I think confidence is a key, isn't it? Because I think in recent years when we've played Chelsea, we've maybe been a little bit. We haven't been confident to go out and beat them, have we? We've almost felt as though we couldn't beat them before we started in some games, I felt, in the last few years. And they've beaten us quite convincingly in a lot of those games. So, yeah, I think we need to, there's no reason why we shouldn't be confident. We have beat them this season after all. And that draw, as you say, we took the game to them in that first half in particular. And, yeah, we need to do that again. What we can't afford to do is start exactly the same way as we did at Wembley in that final, because, we never, from the first minute of that game, we just never got going. And by the time we'd kind of started to settle down, Chelsea were already in front. They'd already missed 3 or 4 chances, and we were chasing shadows, really, and it was too late. And I agree, we've got to start the game strongly. But that hasn't always been, has it, Matt, this season? It hasn't always been our strength, has it, starting games quickly? Even last week against Leicester, we did score in the first minute, but it took us a while to actually get our rhythm going again, didn't it? That's been a problem. We can't afford to start slowly, I don't think, on Sunday, because Chelsea are the team to take advantage of that, as they did at Wembley, and they have done against us previously as well.
Yeah, sorry, there's a load of people coming into the chat and they're all saying hello and things like that. So I'm just waving to everyone's saying hello.
Yeah, we can. Terry's in the chat. He says, "Evening, Richard, Andreas. Am I on time?" He is on time because he's back in England. You see, he's on UK time. and obviously Matt as well. Evening chaps. And Terry says, I'm hoping we go for it and don't sit back. I can't believe I'm agreeing with Emma. Yeah, I mean, exactly. Yeah, we just were saying that there. I mean, a comment here actually from Raz says, we need Jordan Nobbs. I'm just curious to know where would she play in place of who? Because, you know, the front three of, I think, Mead, Miedemar and Caitlin Ford with Viv just behind and Kim Little and Leah Walty. Where does Jordan Nobbs fit into that? I agree, Jordan Nobbs is a great player, but who does she fit in again? Who does she replace in that front or in that? Sorry, that's the problem for me. As much as I like Jordan Nobbs, I'm struggling to find a place for her in that team. I mean, we'll come on to the team lineup actually in a minute. Adako says there, just hope the last final 0-3 won't happen again. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That was so humiliating. It was, yeah. Hope they play with confidence this time. Yeah, we just got that confidence. I'm sure that they will. Terry says, what's going on? Everyone's fired up tonight. Yeah, of course we're fired up. Semi-final. We've got to be fired up, haven't we? And Robertson in chat here says, hi, Rich, Andreas, Emma, and mate. How you doing, Robert? Thanks for tuning in, mate. And Terry says, evening, Robert, indeed. Yeah, okay. So Matt, then, yes, I say, you know, it's important that we start well, and it hasn't been something we've done a lot of this season, is it? We tend to start slowly and build into games, but we can't afford to do that, can we, against the quality that Chelsea have got, as we've seen already previously.
Yeah, and actually, I would be really happy if we were to take that first 10 minutes against Leicester and when we scored that goal, if we were able to do that in the first 10 minutes against Chelsea, I think a lot of us would be breathing a little bit easier. It would be a case of keeping up that consistency, because as soon as we got that first goal, we sort of stepped off a foot, or there was passes that went askew. Caitlin Ford kept on tripping up over her feet, which you couldn't see on the camera because they kept on cutting it out. Well, I'm not trying to dig out Caitlin Ford, but there were times where she was either a little bit slow and things like that. But that's going to be an interesting one as well, with lineup wise, with a lot of the girls traveling backwards for this one. Luckily, it's a Sunday, so they probably got an extra day of rest. But I think when you look at these sort of games on the calendar, it's amazing. You look forward to these games and you consider them to be almost like a little Christmas present that's come early. And you want to see these games, and you want to see Titans go head to head like a boxing match and end to end sort of stuff. I've actually, when I'm doing my writing for Her Football Hub, I'm just talking back about the Chelsea game that we had in February. One of the writers said, "Oh, I was bored of the game." Well, I'm sorry, but that was end to end football, and you didn't know what was going on. There was a late drama as well, with both teams potentially having a penalty each.
Yes.
And I'm expecting the same. I don't think it's going to be a 0-0. I think it's going to be exciting from the first whistle to the last whistle, whether it goes to extra time, whether it goes to penalties. We got two of the best teams in the country, and I know Andrea, she just looked really shocked there. You're hoping it's not going to penalties.
Oh, don't. We're going to win a 90, man. Believe we're going to win a 90.
Being German is usually winning penalty shootout, so it's maybe us that are more nervous about penalties, maybe, because we don't tend to win them very often. But yeah, obviously that's a potential, isn't it? The FA Cup, it's got to be decided on the day, hasn't it? So it could be extra time of penalties, and that would be nerve wracking, wouldn't it, for everybody? I'm sure, and that would be exciting, but. Maybe let's try and avoid that if we can. Let's try and get it done, certainly within the 90 minutes or the extra time, if possible, get through that way rather than penalties. But yeah, I mean, there is that possibility, I suppose. Which the funny thing is as well, I think our problem if it did go penalties was all our penalties are taken by Kim Little. She's the only one I've ever seen take a penalty out of the current side. And I'm not saying that I'm sure Stina could score a penalty. I'm sure one or two others could, but we've never seen them take them, have we? So we don't know.
Katie McKay took a penalty against Man United.
Yes, she did. Katie McKay.
Katie McKay, that's a good point. Yes, she did actually. You're right.
Leah took a decent penalty in the shootout to get Switzerland to the Euros. So we've got people that know how to take penalties. I'm sure they'll probably be doing that on training session, getting ready.
Most of them are the goalkeepers taking penalties. Couldn't imagine that.
We don't want to go that far, do we? Get to go with the goalies up.
Shouldn't take a penalty. With shouldn't take a penalty.
Oh yeah, I remember she missed one from the Netherlands against the USA last year.
She's not good at.
I
No,
think
she
she's
doesn't
going
like them,
away.
does she?
Oh, they
I
actually
reckon-
found
I
something
reckon
she's
she'll
not good
do.
at. Wow.
I'd back her. I'd back her to score one.
Well, I think with penalty shootouts, it's a mentality thing, isn't it? Some people they're able to take a penalty and shoot. It doesn't bother them. It's just like training. That's how they treat it. But some players just can't deal with that extra pressure. And Viv doesn't tend to take penalties anyway, does she, during the game? So it would be. Let's hope that if she does have to take one, that she does score, obviously. But I wouldn't really be confident apart from Kim Little, maybe Katie McCabe, yeah, because she did score that one. I wouldn't necessarily be like massively confident with any of the others because I've never seen them take a penalty, so I don't know what they're like at them. So I couldn't really say, oh yeah, I'll be confident in them. You look at Chelsea, you just feel as though their mentality of their whole team, you would back them to probably score most of their penalties, whoever took them, maybe. I don't know. That's just my feeling. I wouldn't be confident if we went to penalties, let's be honest. But anyway, we've got 120 minutes.
A decent goalkeeper as well. Manu Zinsberg is not
She did save a penalty against Barcelona, didn't she, this season? I think she saved one.
Yes, I think it's from Martins, I think, wasn't it?
Barcelona, she saved one. And, she's a good penalty killer.
Yeah, I think so. I'll be pleased with her if it went to penalties. I just feel Chelsea have got a strong mentality when it comes to stuff like that, and I'm not sure whether ours is going to be as strong, but we'll have to see. I mean, hopefully it won't go that far because I don't know if my nerves could take a penalty after 120 minutes of what will probably be a tense game in the first place. So that's going to be something to we'll have to worry about, I suppose, if it comes around to that. And Deco in the chat says, when we talk about confidence, mentality, and big time or big stage, we Arsenal always become the second, either the women or the men's team. Why always Arsenal? I mean, it does seem like that, doesn't it? That we don't seem to quite be able to get these big games over the line often enough. When you look at teams like Chelsea, for example, the men and the women, they seem to be able to win those big games, don't they, more often than not. And I'm not sure why it is really, because this isn't just a thing for now with the current Arsenal team, is it? This has been going on for a long time, and it's difficult. Yeah, and it's I don't know what the issue is, because you're right, when it comes to the women as well, quite often those really big games we have fallen short, haven't we? Certainly in recent years, and I don't know. Hopefully, we can put it right on Sunday, because what I don't want to happen is, and we did kind of mention it a bit earlier, that we saw what happened after we lost that FA Cup final. We fell apart, didn't we? For 5, 6, 7 games after that, we were really poor, and we can't afford that to happen now, can we? Because even if we do lose on Sunday, we've got massive games coming up after that straight away in the league, haven't we? That we have to win, and we can't afford to go on to a run like we did last time. So if we do lose, and let's pray that we don't, but if we did, we need to turn that around really quickly, don't we? And let's hope that mentality is right for the game, and that we can get a big game over the line when it really matters. Robert says, I don't understand why Lisa Evans is on loan. She works so well with Meadow, both obviously well connected. Now, of course they are. They do play well together. But again, going back to the Jordan Nobbs point, if Lisa Evans is with us now, who would we leave out of the team to put Lisa Evans in it at this moment in time with the players that we've got? I don't know. That's I personally wouldn't think Lisa would fit into our team at the moment. As much as we love Lisa, I'm just not quite sure if she's at the same level as the other players that are playing at the moment. I don't know. But she does work well with Viv, obviously. But Robert says there, Lisa lifts those players. Vlogs, but her vlogs are fantastic. They're brilliant. We've maybe missed them a little bit, actually.
She might be at the game on Sunday because surely it'll be a rest day. So she might be.
Yeah, because obviously they're playing their semi-final on
Saturday.
Yeah, I mean that's interesting actually, because if West Ham get to the final, Lisa wouldn't be able to play, would she, against us? Or is that right?
No, she wouldn't. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
Because of the loan situation.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know if that applies. Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, I don't know.
I'm not sure if she can. I know last time we played West Ham in the league, she was injured anyway, so she couldn't play regardless. But I'm not sure how that works, actually. I know in the men's game you can't play on the club that you're on loan. You can't play against the club you're on loan from. And if it's the same in the women's team, it would be a shame for Lisa if they got to the final, she would be able to play, actually, wouldn't it? It would be in the same way, obviously, in the men's game on this weekend, Crystal Palace, Conor Gallagher can't play against Chelsea.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He's on loan from Chelsea, isn't he? And he can't play in that semi-final. It is a shame for those players. But anyway, I'm not sure what will happen with that. But, I mean, I'm hoping West Ham go through because it'll be a nice, easy, not easier. It'll be an easier final.
We want it to be Arsenal City, man. We can be City too. We can be City too.
Of course, we can beat City. We can beat anybody on our day. But ultimately, I'd be a lot more confident if we had to play West Ham, if we had to play City, before the game. But anyway, let's see. Let's just get there first. So whoever we'll know already before, but we need to get there first, regardless, really. Terry says, "Is Katie back for Sunday's game?"
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, I don't see why she wouldn't be. I know she played obviously for Ireland, didn't she, the other night. Dako says there penalty. No, Zinsberger is slow turtle. She can't save ground. No, she's got a good record in penalties. She's got a good record saving penalties. So no, she's all right. Yeah, she's all right saving penalties. We don't mind that at all. Robert says there Beth Mead. I hope will be on the pitch. I'm sure she will. But I certainly want Nikita Harris on the pitch. Again, who do we leave out? We'll come on to the team up in a minute, actually, because I think that could be quite interesting. And Luca's in chat. How are you doing, Luca? Thanks for tuning in, mate. Hope you are well. I watched a bit of your show earlier as well. That was good stuff as well. So make sure you check out Luca's channel as well. So yeah, I mean, actually, why don't we talk about the lineup actually? Because people are suggesting all these different players that they want to see playing, and we have got a lot of options. Let's be honest. If everybody's fit, which it seems like they are, apart from possibly Rafael Souza and Emmanuel Boch, who may not be ready to play quite yet, but everyone else seems to be fit. Andreas, what would you go with your starting 11, 1 to 11? What would it be?
I think there are only two open questions. The fact that Manu is starting in goal is quite clear, and then Noel will play, and Leah, and then the question is Lotta or Rafa, who is fit from both of them, because Lotta was injured too. She couldn't take part in the internationals, but she seems to be in training again. So who can play out of both of them? And I hope either Lotta or Rafa can play, and not Jen. As much as we love Jen Beattie, but she had a lot of mistakes in her matches, even in the cup final. It was terrible mistakes from her. So I'm sorry for Jen, but I would really prefer to see Lotta, and maybe Rafa is coming from the bench when we are leading the match. Then and on the other side, on the left side, Katie or Steph. This is also an open question for me. I think Jonas will prefer to play Katie. And then Leah Walty on the holding midfield position is quite clear. Kim, we don't have to talk about her. And with in the number 10 position, and the three attackers would be for me too, Beth, Stina, and Caitlin, because Caitlin had a great second half of the season. We said it often or many times, returning from this Asia Cup, and she's a totally different Caitlin than we saw in the first half of the season. So I hope she will get a chance. And on the wings is, in my opinion, is her best position, not as a central striker, but on the wings. She can rotate, and she has the pace. What is important against the Chelsea defenders, because Millie Bright is not the quickest. So we must have players with pace, and like Beth, like Caitlin. So this would be my lineup.
Yeah, I mean that wouldn't be, probably won't be far off what we'll get, more than likely, but we'll see. I mean, we hear some strong players that left out of that team as well, aren't there? As we've already mentioned some of them in the comments as well. I mean, Matt, would you make too many other changes from that? Obviously, Tobin Heath as well. She did, of course, score against Leicester when she came on. So what would you go with as you're starting out? Would it be very similar to what Andreas suggested, or you got one or two other players in mind to start maybe?
I think it's difficult to tell with this one. I definitely think Zinsberger is going to start. No offense to Lydia, it's just because it's a tough opponent and she hasn't had a lot of minutes this season. I just think she would struggle a little bit more than Manu. Left hand side again, I think this is going to. I've touched on it a little bit, but it depends on how Steph is feeling. if she's fully recovered from jet lag after travelling so much with the Australian team. Same with Caitlin. In which case, if Steph isn't starting, then Katie starts on that left-hand side, and perhaps we look at Nikita maybe starting on that side as well, just to cover that. Our centre-back pairing is going to be a difficult one. If Rafaela is not feeling 100%, I would put her on the bench, and that way she can grow into the game maybe in the second half if we need to. One thing I don't want to happen is if Lotta is to play, I don't want her to lose that confidence. She has looked a little bit quicker since that FA Cup final, especially since she's gone through a lot. She's done really well with her passing as well. She just looked really good at the back against Leicester, and I just don't want her to lose that confidence she has, which might be more considered for Jen to maybe start ahead of Lotta, if that was the case. I think Noelle picks herself for the final spot in defence. That trio of Leah, Leah as the other centre back, of course. Kim, Leah, and Viv as the midfield three seems to be working. So why change something that's not going to be broken? My only concern is, are they going to try and do the Wolfsburg tactics where they try and make sure that Viv has no time on the ball? If that was the case, maybe I might be tempted to maybe just say to Viv, I'm going to make you a sub, but if it's not working, I'm going to bring you on. So maybe play Frida, or just to mix things up a little bit of a I don't know.
That'd be a big call, wouldn't it? To leave that and line up in the semi-final against Chelsea. Wow, that would be a massive call.
Maybe even Jordan could be a good shout. But I think Stina will be playing up top, that's for sure. Beth will be playing. I don't think Tobin will be playing to start with. I think she'll be coming off the bench. So it will be. It's difficult to predict the full starting 11. That's for sure. I wouldn't like to be in Jonas's shoes at the moment. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the good thing is we've got a lot of options, and that's a great position to be in, isn't it? It's better to be in a situation that we are now than we were maybe 3 months ago when, the Birmingham game, for example, when we couldn't even fill the bench. So it's a good headache for him to have, isn't it, Jonas? And he's got some big decisions to make, and a lot of that may well depend on, as you said, obviously with Caitlin and Steph, who have come back from Australia with the national team to see how they're feeling. And stuff like that as well. That could have a bearing. But yeah, it's a tough decision for Jonas. But ultimately, he's got to get it right, hasn't he? I mean, Emma, what would you go with on the start? Then would you make too many changes from what we've seen so far, what we've heard from Andreas and Matt, or have you got some master plan up your sleeve that you need to tell Jonas about quickly?
No, I'm not a master tactician myself, but no, I agree largely with what boys have been saying. I mean, it's a good dilemma for the manager to have. But I would also consider maybe it's a question also of how people are feeling after the international break, because a lot of them would have played 2 games. Some of them are rested, like in Laura Wienreuter's case, for example. Maybe he starts with her on the right. I think it's a right side of the defense, isn't it? Yeah. I think you go with your tried and tested method. You start with Meadow in goal, the back four, the back four which has been tried and tested this season. Kat Lee. Williamson, Maritz are the 3 definite starters for me. But the question is, who do you pair with Leah? Do you play Lotta? Do you play Jen? Do you play even Simone Boy? But then Simone Boy also had a tough little schedule with Denmark. So, I mean, it's difficult to say. But maybe I'll play, if Lotta's play, I'd start Williamson Wubbenmoy, because I think they've been the most reliable partnership at the back for us this season. And in the midfield, obviously, I think Kim and Leo is almost they pick themselves really. They work so well together in midfield. The question is, do you play Frida or Jordan in front of them and then play Viv as part of front three, or do you play Viv in front of Kim and Leah? Actually, she's been playing in number 10, or as in slightly behind the front three, and then start with Stina, Katie on the left-hand side of midfield, and Beth as well. So it's a good dilemma to have. I mean, it's tough to maybe leave out somebody like Caitlin, but I mean, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, I would maybe be tempted to maybe play Viv just behind the front three, and like he has been doing the last few weeks. But as I said, it remains to be seen.
No, I mean, I say it's great that we've got these options, really. The Deco in the centre makes an interesting point. He says we need to buy a world-class centre-back to be paired with Raphael next season. I prefer Leah plays as a sort of defensive mid to replace Leah Walty. Leah is better and stronger in that position. That would help King going forward more. I mean, obviously, Leah plays that position for England, doesn't she, midfield? And I'm still a little bit shocked that she doesn't play in defence more for England. But anyway, she can do that job. Is she better than Leah Walty at the moment? I'm not really sure about that, actually. And plus, as well, I think she's so important to us at the back, isn't she, Leah Williamson? You wouldn't really take her out. I suppose, yeah, if we bought someone in that position, maybe as good as Raphael, then perhaps we could. But I don't know. I don't think Leah Williamson's going to be moving out of defence anytime soon, if I'm honest. I think that's her position for us, and she does great there as well. So, Terry says there, Matt, what have you been drinking or smoking? Something? How can you leave Viv out? Yeah, I mean that would be a Mikel Arteta type decision, wouldn't it? Leaving Viv out.
It's a red herring, though. I mean, we've got such a good bench anyway, but imagine Emma Hayes' face if she was to look and go, well, I'm prepared for Viv to play midfield, and we're planning to have 2 or 3 players on her. And she'll even play
leave out your best player just because it's going to confuse the opposition. I mean, that's an interesting kind of tactic, isn't it? But who knows? I mean, I'll be amazed if Viv doesn't start. Let's be honest.
No, I think Viv starts. It's just a little red herring I thought I'd throw out there.
It's an interesting concept. It is an interesting concept, but I'll be surprised unless she's got some sort of injury. I'd be amazed if she doesn't start.
The only one played one game as well because the Belarus game got cancelled.
Yeah, because of their stance on Russia. That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Udako says there, Stina still looks a bit shy in his team. She needs to have more composure and start demand for the ball. She looks quiet sometimes. Make more runs behind defenders and find in space. I mean, I don't think we've seen the best of Stina yet, if I'm honest. I think she's been a great signing, and I think she's playing well. And she's scored quite a few goals already. But yeah, we maybe haven't seen the total best of her yet. I think she's going to get better as she goes along. But I'm really happy with what she's brought to the team. Definitely. And her link up with Viv's been really good as well, hasn't it, in a lot of the games. And I thought she had a great game in that game against Chelsea, actually. I think that might have been the first time that he started with Viv and Stina, wasn't it? I think the first game they actually started together. And you could see what's the kind of how that was working really. Terry says, "Damn, I'm agreeing with Emma again. What's going on?" Well, because Emma talks a lot of sense. That's why you agree. Most of the time, anyway. I mean, for me, the team I would go with would probably be obviously Zinsberger in goal. I would actually put Katie McCabe at left back because I think she's stronger defensively than Steph. I would obviously, if Raphael's fit, she plays with Leah Williamson. If not, I would play Wilburn White because she's been playing well. Yeah. I thought she was brilliant in the 2 games against Wolfsburg. She played well against Leicester, as Matt said. So if Raphael's not fit, then I would have no problems with Lotta playing there. She needs to maybe play against Chelsea to get that cup final out of her system because along with Jen Beattie at Wembley, she made a lot of mistakes. She was very poor and looked uncertain, but she's improved a lot since, and her form's been really good. If she's got to play, I don't have a problem with that. I'm sure she'll play well because she's played well in recent games. It's got to be obviously Leah Walton and Kim Little, hasn't it, in that midfield because that's as we've all said, that works really well. Then Viv just ahead of them 2, and then the front 3 for me, I'd go with Beth Mead on the right, Stina up through the centre, and I would if she's fit enough to play, then Caitlin Ford has to start on the left. 1, because she's been playing well, and 2, she had a great game against Chelsea in that game. I thought she was our best player. Probably Viv was our best player, but she was certainly one of our best players that night against Chelsea. So I would definitely play Caitlin Ford if she's fit. If not, then I don't know. Then maybe I don't know. Then you've got Tobin Heath, but Tobin Heath for me is better when she comes off the bench, isn't she? Maybe Jordan Nobbs could possibly play there. Maybe put maybe Beth Mead on that side and maybe Jordan on the other side, maybe. But we've got options anyway, which is great, and we should have a strong bench as well. With obviously Frida on the bench can come on. Obviously Jordan maybe on the bench. Tobin, yeah, exactly. Nikita Paris. So we've got some good players on the bench that we could bring on later on in the game if we need to, especially if we don't go extra time. We'll need some fresh legs, won't we? Robert says there, please do not play Catley. She's not doing well. I mean, I must admit, she's got mistakes in her defensively, Steph Catley, at times, and sometimes she's not always as composed on the ball as we need her to be. And I do think that she sometimes does worry me a little bit. I like Steph, and I think she's had a good season, but she does maybe worry me sometimes. And I do think Katie McCabe's a better defender at left back. I think she offers more defensively. Steph's maybe better going forward at times and can put great balls in. But I don't know. I think against Chelsea, I would put Katie there just because defensively she'll be more stable for us, I think. And that was what made me wrong in a cup final a little bit. We should have put Katie McCabe at left back.
Steph puts in a good shift, and she does work defensively well. It's what my issue is when you see on TV, you don't see the full picture. She works really hard. She's great defensively. She does she does have a small mistake in her once or twice, but she makes up for it. Her crossing ability into the box, her set pieces as well, have been amazing all season. And to be honest, she would probably be one of my unsung players of the year, along with Noam, because they just played amazingly. And it's just I think it's a bit disrespectful to say, as Robert said, don't play Steph there. I think Steph offers a lot to us that a lot of other players don't.
No, I'm not saying that necessarily she shouldn't necessarily play. I personally, in this game, I would go with Katie at left back just because I do think she's slightly more stable defensively than Steph. And that's the only reason. I agree. I think Steph's had a good season. And I think she does offer the team. She's got a lot to offer. I just feel in this game, if it had to come for a straight choice of Katie or Steph at left back, I would go with Katie just for that reason. That I do think she is more defensively stronger. And as Adako in the chat rightly says there, and we cannot leave McCabe out. She is our bonzer in the team. She will get a fight anytime when he's exactly against Chelsea. That's one thing that you need to do, don't you? You need to be able to be up to the physical challenge as much as anything else. And Kate is a player, I think, defensively that is would be the better player for this game for me. I'm not saying we should never play Steph again because I like Steph as well, but I just feel as though in this game I would play Katie there just for her defensive strength, really. Robert says there, fully agree on her crossing, but not a defender. Sorry, it's disrespectful. It's a choice matter like you have. No, it's not. Yeah, I mean, obviously,
got an opinion. Everyone to themselves, but I've got mine. You've got yours. That's fair enough.
Exactly. I kind of agree with your point, Robert, to a degree that I think defensively she's not as strong as Katie, and that's why I would go with that choice if I was picking the team. But I'm not. It's up to Jonas to decide, and whatever Jonas decides, we will support him because he's not got it wrong too many times this season. One or two maybe here and there, but overall, he generally gets it right. I
can see where you're coming from. Like I understand. Like Katie will know what it's like because she's a former Chelsea fan anyway, so she might like to believe her former admirers, let's say. So
wasn't Katie suspended for that 0-0 draw? She wasn't she?
Yeah, because she got sent off against United. That's right.
Against United. So actually, she didn't even play last time we played them.
No, she didn't.
So and we obviously got a clean sheet against them with Steph at left back in that game. So maybe that just proves everything I've just said wrong. Maybe and Robert as well.
Again, it's all almost a flip of a coin. You're either going to get
it is. I mean, I don't think we can leave Katie McCabe out. So either she plays left back or she plays left of the front three, doesn't she? She's one of those positions because you can't leave her out of this game because she's obviously one of our top players. There's no doubt. So, but yeah, we'll see. But it is good that Jonas has got these options in so many positions. I still think maybe midfield we don't have a lot of options, do we? It's Kim and Leah, and that's pretty much it. No one else maybe I suppose can fill in one of those positions maybe, but we are a little bit short there, I think. in that area of the team overall. But we've got plenty of options everywhere else, and that's obviously a massive thing for us. Robert says I was just frustrated seeing her lately. I'm not saying she's a bad player, just reasonably mistakes too often. More like, no, I mean, I tend to agree. I do think defensively she has made a few mistakes in some games recently. Was it Wolfsburg where she had a bit of a nightmare, didn't she? The Wolfsburg away game, she wasn't great, was she? But yeah, other than that, she's had a good season, I think, and I'm sure she's got a big part to play for the rest of the season, definitely. Udako says Maritz can cross the ball very bad. Overall, our crossing into the box is very bad compared to Chelsea.
From set pieces into the box.
Yeah, I mean, I think he says Maritz can't cross. Well, I don't know if she can't cross the ball. I think I don't know. She's obviously not as good a crosser as Katie is or Steph, but I don't know. I don't necessarily say she's bad at crossing the ball. But no, you're probably right. I do think Chelsea put more dangerous balls into the box than what we do in open play. I think our set pieces are good, and we score a few goals from set pieces. But yeah, sometimes maybe in open play, sometimes we don't always get the right balls into the box always, do we? I mean, sometimes I think Stina hasn't been getting great service always because, she may even scored a few more goals. But anyway, we can't really complain about how we've been playing, let's be honest. We've been playing well. Terry says there...
you don't want to see me drinking on camera, that's for sure. So.
No, he's on crack half the time. What is he on, man?
Terry. Well, I'm sure Terry's just having some fun with us, isn't he? But yeah, I mean, obviously...
Terry.
No, Terry's a good lad. He's a good lad. We like this guy. So yeah, I mean that's that's obviously looking ahead to this big game on Sunday. It's going to be a tough one to call, isn't it? But we are going to have to come up with some sort of score prediction, unfortunately. And I know it's going to be very difficult to do that, but we're going to have to because that's what we do on the show. So we need to come up with a score prediction. So, Andreas, we'll start with you. What is your score prediction going to be? Are you confident that we can get through, even if it takes extra time and penalties, maybe?
Of course, we can go through and we can win against Chelsea. Everything is possible, and we as fans, we have to believe in the team, and so I believe that the girls will make it. I think, as I said, there will be goals because both defense lines are not the best ones. We can score against Chelsea, but also I'm afraid that Chelsea will score against us, especially from corners or from crosses. Every time there's a cross or something in the 6-yard box, I'm afraid Manu is staying at the line and waiting. Yeah. So this always causes problems. She's very good in one against one. She's good on the line, but corners, crosses, it's not her best. So I say we will see a 2-2 after 90 minutes. It will be good for our nerves, and in extra time we will score one more and we'll have the same result as on the first match day. We will win 3-2, and I think everybody will be happy if I'm right.
Everybody will be happy apart from the Chelsea. We'll certainly be very happy if it does finish 3-2 after extra time. It would be a tense, nervy afternoon, but I'm sure we'd all take that for a 3-2 extra time victory. Would be fantastic, wouldn't it? Matt, what are you thinking? Are you thinking similar goal fest, or do you think it might be a little bit more cagey than the 5 goals again that we had at the start of the season?
See, I have a feeling Emma Hayes is planning only for 90 minutes. She's not actually planning for the extra time and penalties because they've got to play Tottenham next week on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then they've got to play Tottenham again on the Sunday. So I reckon it will be, everyone knows that, or that has been on the channel knows that I always go the opposite way to everyone else because it's a bit of luck. And I think there's always one result that goes our way that's always grounded us and brought us back to life, and that was in the Wolfsburg game. So I think this game will fire them up. That being said, I'll probably go for a 3-0 Chelsea, just so who Arsenal can prove me wrong once again. But
okay,
this is the luck of the show. Andrea, you're looking at me as if to say I've just thrown everything you've just said in the bin. No, don't get me wrong. I think you're perfectly right. But for the sake of luck and everything that's happened this season, I've only got 5 results right this season, and that was all the wrong ones, really. Hopefully, this one's another one.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, we like you to predict a defeat. Actually, it's fine if you do that. That's not a problem. But yeah, I mean, it's. I hope it's not going to be another 3-0 because that was not great last time, was it? And actually, I was just checking out. Chelsea don't play Tottenham. They played Tottenham twice, but it's not this coming week. They play them next weekend, and then the midweek after that. Yeah. So they've got a full week off this week as we have. There's no midweek games this week in the WSL. They've got a whole week off. They're playing Tottenham on next Sunday, the 24th, and then they're playing them again on Thursday, the 28th. And then hopefully they'll drop some points in one of them games, and then we can get our advantage back in the league. But we'll see. Come on, Tottenham. We won't work to that very often, but we definitely want them to win. So Andreas has gone for a 3-2 after extra time. Matt's gone for a 3-0 win to Chelsea, which is fine because we like that from Matt anyway. We hope that's not the result, obviously. So Emma, what are you going to go with your score prediction for Sunday? We know it's going to be a very, 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 very
well, as we know, we'll have our fingers crossed and nails we've bitten. We'll all be there. I think the sellout crowd, there's nothing like having a sellout crowd at your home ground cheering you on. It's like, as we've seen so many times in other sports, they're like the 12th player or 12th man or whatever you call them. And I think they'll inspire the girls. They'll be really refreshed, recharged and ready to go. And they'll want to put on a show for the fans. And as I said, I'm confident going into this game. You saw what City did to the Chelsea. I know it was nearly 2 months ago now, but we saw what City did to them in the second half of the Conti Cup final. And who's to say we can't do something similar? I mean, not to say they've been on fire since then, but as I said, I think we can beat them, and we're due a win over them. And I'm going to go, and I think the crowd will be inspired the girls to get over the line, and I think we'll win 2-1
in 90 minutes.
Yeah, in 90 minutes, not after ET, not penalties, nothing. 2-1.
Well, that would be good. I'll definitely like that. Yeah. It will certainly make it a little bit less stressful than having extra time. But I think the crowd actually, obviously, it's great that it's a sellout. That is going to be, everyone there it's going to be an amazing atmosphere. Could that add a little bit of extra pressure as well? Because I'm not used to playing in front of a crowd that big at Meadow Park. We haven't had a crowd like that for a long time, and maybe that's a little bit of extra pressure there. And it's how do we react to that pressure as well? The crowd as well. Yeah, can help as well, obviously. But there'll be a few Chelsea fans there, I'm sure, as well, because they tend to have a few, because that what happened earlier in the season when they stopped Chelsea fans buying tickets didn't last for long, did it? They kind of banned them for like a week, didn't they? And then they were allowed to buy tickets again after that. It seemed a bit strange. But anyway, obviously there'll be Chelsea fans there as well. So it'll definitely be a good atmosphere. There's no doubt about that. And let's hope that can give our players a lift and it can really inspire us to produce a great performance, which we'll need. We'll need a good performance if we're going to beat Chelsea. There's no doubt about that. I'm feeling, I wouldn't say massively optimistic, but I'm feeling fairly confident that we can win based on the way we played at Kings Meadow a couple of months back, where we played well in that game. And, Chelsea don't tend to play that well when they come back off international break either, do they, for some reason? They always tend to come back not quite at their best for a game. And, I'm sure that Continental Cup final, wasn't that just after the international break as well, and they fell to pieces in the second half, didn't they? So, they don't tend to play their best game after the international break. It's a shame there's not maybe a WSL game they can drop points, play badly in. But anyway, we'll take them being slightly off their best if it means we get through to the final. I think we'll win, actually. I do. I actually think we'll win. But I think it's going to be tight and it's going to be tense and there's not going to be a lot in it and it's going to be quite a feisty game. I think there's going to be a lot of tackles flying in. I think it's going to be full-blooded game and it's going to be good to watch. There's going to be some good football played. I do think we'll come out on top just. I kind of like that 2-1, actually. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's 1-1 at 90 minutes. It goes to extra time and then we do sneak one in extra time. I think that, they may run out of steam a bit having the international break because they tend to do that. So, I think we will sneak it through. Robert's gone the same. He says 2-1 to Arsenal will be a close game. Yeah, it definitely will be a close game. But of course, obviously, Matt thinks it's going to be 3-0 to Chelsea. So that's fine. That won't be that close for it. Which is good. Terry says no pens, Matt, and in 90 minutes. Yeah, I don't think it was in 90 minutes. Sash says there 2-1 Arsenal. Again, another 2-1. Terry's gone optimistically 5-3 to us. Paris hat trick. Well, I mean, again, that would be great, wouldn't it? I wouldn't have thought Chelsea have conceded 5 since we beat them 5-0 about 4 or 5 years ago. They haven't conceded 5 in a game since then, have they? So that would be nice if we did it again. That would be fantastic, actually, wouldn't it, if that happened? But I can't see it being 5. It might be 5-3 on penalties after it finishes. Maybe that might be where you get your 5-3 from. But I can't see it being 5-3 in the game. But anyway, who knows? Who knows? Udako says there, I've seen many times the big teams like Wolfsburg, Barca, Chelsea always pass all over the top behind defenders if they can't break the defenders. We always pass on the ground. Yeah, I mean, actually, funny you should mention that because I watched obviously a few Chelsea games this season in particular, especially recently. I watched the game against Reading and a few others recently, Man City as well. And I think with Chelsea, they certainly aren't scared of a long ball, are they? And they do get the ball forward very quickly. And sometimes we like to pass it, don't we? Under Jonas in particular, we've got more of a much more passing style, haven't we? We tend not to play too many long balls. Yeah, we do occasionally play long balls over the top. But Chelsea do that a lot, don't they? They get long balls forward constantly in a game. And it's going to be it's a little bit of a contrast in styles when we play them, actually. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out again. And we've got a question there. What's our thoughts on Viv's number 10 role? Andreas, what are your thoughts on that then? Since he's been playing there, obviously, the last couple of months, how do you feel that's been going?
Yes, I think it's going very well. And it's as far as we know, it was her wish to play on the number 10 role. And her connection with Stina worked from the very first day. So it will improve how they play together, but I think number 10 role fits very good for Viv. She's more a part of the match. She gets more involved. She has more balls, and the way she creates chances, she sees the chances. This is very special, and she's better than anybody else in this. Just seeing where to pass the ball. And I think the most important point for her is to be more involved in the match and to be more in. And and we saw her score, although so she's nevertheless she's a threat for the goal for every other team. And I feel confident with her on the number 10 role.
Yeah, I mean, and it hasn't really impacted her goal scoring output as much as it may have done because she's still getting goals regularly, isn't she? She's still scoring regularly. She got 2 goals against Leicester in the last game, of course, and she scored a couple of goals in the FA Cup run as well so far. So no, it's not had a massively negative impact on her goal output, which I was kind of worried it might have done. She might have stopped scoring as many, but she's still banging in goals. So she's just more involved in the play, isn't she? All the time, she must have much more touches of the ball now than she did before. I think probably a lot more. I don't know. I haven't seen the stats actually, but I just from watching the games, I would imagine she must have had a lot more touches of the ball. She's more involved, and she's kind of pulling the strings a lot more for the team, isn't she, in that role? So I think it's working really well actually. And I know obviously Matt, you want to left out the team on Sunday from that role, but what have you made of her role at number 10 overall?
Yeah, I think since she gave that interview, I can't remember who it was to. Yeah. But her saying that she would prefer to be in midfield so that she was able to contribute more has shown that she's and Jonas actually put a little bit of faith in her to do it. Shows that he's done well there to trust her there. It could have quite easily not worked that well, but we brought in quite well with Stina as well, so that's helped on top. The way Viv and Stina link up is amazing as well. And I think it's almost like a new lease of life. Like she wasn't happy in that, just to bring up that final again, she wasn't happy. She looked almost like she wanted to give up football, if I'm honest. And no matter what you wanted her to do, even when I was literally right at the front row trying to cheer her on, trying that she can do it, and she just didn't look into it at all. It's huge for her to come into that. She said that she's been talking to a sports psychologist as well, which has helped her out quite a lot as well. So all the things that she's doing for the right reason. And I think she's done really well. I think she can only carry it on.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, I think that role really has really suited her, and like we said, that the way she's linked up with Stina has given our attack an extra dimension, really, which we didn't have before. And I know Stina's a big part of that as well, the way that she played. I mean, Emma, I guess Viv at number 10 certainly better than Boris at number 10, so that's a positive, isn't it? But what have you made of Viv playing a number 10 role?
Yeah, and it's interesting to see that he's dropped her back in, but I think she's comfortable playing wherever it is, as long as he's in a forward position. I mean, you could never see her playing in like central midfield or in defence unless things got really extreme. But yeah, I think she's so versatile; she can play absolutely anywhere. And yeah, it shows that linking up with the forwards, as she's done so well with Beth in the past, Caitlin, or now even with Stina, she can play wherever she likes. Well, not wherever she likes, but she's comfortable in whatever position the manager wants her to play in. And it's great to have. Well, it's like with the team, it's great to have that dilemma where to play her, and she still poses a threat to the opposition from wherever she plays, as we saw against Leicester in the last game, where she just gives it 120% every time. So I mean, it's great to see, and long may it continue. And we'll see what happens. We'll see if that becomes a permanent position from now on. But it's good to see. I think she's doing well.
Yeah, and of course, she did win the Player of the Month as well, didn't she, for March?
Yes, she did.
Kind of goes to show that maybe this new role has got noticed elsewhere as well, which is great. So it clearly is working, and I think it's great that she's maybe got a little bit more freedom in the team now. When you're playing sort of as a centre forward, you don't have as much freedom where you can go. Really, you need to be getting on the end of balls into the box, whereas now she's got that freedom. She can drop deeper, she can influence things more, and I think she's really thrived in that. And hopefully that may well influence her decision at the end of the season where she's going to be playing her football in the future. Let's hope that has a positive influence. Obviously, the result on Sunday may go towards that as well. If we're winning trophies and stuff like that, it's going to help, isn't it? So without a shadow of a doubt, I think. I'm really frustrated when Chelsea scored a last-minute goal in the last 30 seconds against Villa. Yeah, we all were. If they drew that game, we're ready to be top by now. Yeah, but there's still a few more games they can draw. Maybe we'll have to see. There's a lot of games still to play. Rebecca says before the international break, Chelsea's on fire. They scored 15 goals in 2 games. I feel confident. I just hope playing in our ground gives us a little bit of an advantage. That's all I can say. Yeah, exactly. That's what we're all hoping it does, and let's hope it will. Although Chelsea have got a good record on that ground, unfortunately. Herman's in the chat here, mate. He says, "Hello, all. I've been busy with other things." No, that's fine. It's Good Friday, so lots of stuff going on a Good Friday, as we're aware of. And Robert says there, Rich, hopefully thinking after the international break. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm kind of clinging on to any little bit of hope I can at the moment. I mean, talking of the international break, actually, our players had a pretty good international break, didn't they? Many of them scored a lot of goals. Obviously, Beth got a few goals last week, and Viv scored 6, didn't she, that same night for Holland? So it's been, I think, a lot of our players have had a really good international break in terms of the format they played in. Kate, as we said, scored a goal, didn't she, for Ireland the other night as well? So
Stina, I think they also scored once or twice.
Yeah, she did. Obviously, that Sweden are qualified already for the World Cup, so that's hopefully all our players that have been away are going to come back in really good spirits. They're going to be confident. They're going to be happy. They've had a good break. They've done well for their countries. And yes, I suppose you could probably say the same about Chelsea, because their players generally play for the same countries as our players do as well. So they've enjoyed a similar positive experience, I guess. But I say Chelsea tend to struggle when they come back, because Emma hasn't been able to nag them for a week before the game. So, I think sometimes it takes another week of her nagging them to get them to play well again. So let's hope that's the case. I mean, Andres, do you think that might be significant for us then? The fact that all our players have done well internationally this last couple of weeks, and they're going to come back buzzing and really full of confidence and ready to go. Do you think that might make a big impact? Because we haven't always done that well, have we, after the international break either, actually?
The most important in the international break was that everybody came back healthy.
Absolutely.
No more injuries. This is always my biggest concern when international break is coming. So of course, Viv scoring 6 goals in a match and Beth 4 goals. What more confidence can you get from international break than scoring so many goals? And Frida was successful. Manu and Laura had 2 wins with Austria. So Katie was player of the match for Ireland.
Yeah.
Maybe it helps. At least the girls had great matches with the national teams. Nobody came back injured, so it was a good break for us, and I hope we will come into the match very, very quick. And as I said, we have to be awake from the first second and try to dominate the match, because we are at home and we must show that we want to win this. And
exactly.
just a strong team. Daniel Harder is coming back. So even if Frank Kirby is Sam Kerr has the same problem as Caitlin and Steph had with the jet lag and the travel from but they have Jessie Fleming and Bethany England, who is form. Erin Cuthbert, always important for the team. Laura Wrighton is on a good run. It's a good team, and if you compare them head to head, I think it's equal. Both teams have fantastic players, and it's very difficult to say.
Look
forward to it.
Yeah, and I mean, exactly, it is. I mean, it's great to see all two teams with some of the greatest players in the world at the moment playing against each other again in this season. It's, I say, the 4th time we've played Chelsea this season, which has been great. And it's kind of gone as even in a way. We've won one. There's been one draw, and Chelsea have won one. They've slightly, they're winning 5-3 on goal difference maybe, but it's been pretty even over the season. This is maybe the decider, isn't it, in many ways? Because we've got to have a winner. It can't finish in a draw, because someone's going to win eventually, whether it's penalties or whatever. So this is going to be the decider with 1 win each and 1 draw. So it's going to perhaps see where that goes there. Herman says there, Katie McCabe was great against Sweden. Yeah, she was actually the game. She got a player of the match in. Dako says there, Pepe played well in the AFCON and came back to Arsenal and been benched. Yeah, he did. But then, Caitlin Ford went away with Australia, came back and been brilliant. So, it swings and roundabouts, I guess, with it. But yeah, hopefully we will come back. I mean, the main thing was, Matt, wasn't it? As Andreas said there, everyone's come back fit by the look of it. We haven't got any injuries on the back of the international break. And that's the one thing I was praying for. We wasn't going to lose Beth Mead or Viv or Steen or anybody like that, And luckily, they've all come back fit, haven't they? Which is a massive bonus.
Hello? Oh, can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm just and a lot of things have happened since then. Stina's qualified with Sweden.
Yes.
We're nearly there with our England qualification. Only need a point from our next couple of games. Frida scoring 1 goal against Kosovo in their only game. They're now top of their group. Switzerland have had a really hard time, and my favourite player was subbed in one of their games towards the end of that game. So hopefully she's feeling a little bit better and be more refreshed for that. On top of that, we've got goals from Viv in that Neil drumming. And then they had their game cancelled against Belarus, which we've touched on. Katie scoring another banger against Sweden and getting a very important point. They've now got three games remaining over Finland to finish second in that group to try and get a playoff, which will be quite exciting. On top of that, that's it. No, I was trying to look for our Aussies, and funny enough, Caitlin and Steph played on the same side for that game, but Caitlin came off in that game, which they won 3-1 against New Zealand, and that was their only game. So it's going to be quite interesting, that's for sure. I'd like to see how they bond and come back together. Hopefully they're well rested now, and fully back up to speed with everything and in sync time zone wise and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's key, isn't it? I mean, the travelling and stuff is never ideal, is it? Traveling a lot in a short space of time and stuff like that, recovery wise and stuff. But ultimately, the good thing is Chelsea have had the same issues. They've had the same number of players away. and it's not going to be an advantage or a disadvantage in this particular game, is it? Luckily, it may have been an advantage against another team that didn't have as many international players, perhaps, but it's not going to make a lot of difference, I don't feel, in that sense in this game. They've got a couple of Australians, well, haven't they, as you said? Well, they've got Sam Kerr particularly, so hopefully she might not be quite on her game.
Just on that, so the stats for that game, they had 23 shots, only 8 of them were on target, and they scored 3 goals, and she scored 2 of them. So take that out of context, how many shots she actually did have and failed to hit the back of the net.
Yeah, exactly. But that's Sam Kerr all over, isn't it? We know that's what she's going to do. She gets herself into the great areas. She'll have chance after chance after chance, and eventually she'll miss kick one. It'll go in, and everyone says, "Oh, look, Sam Kerr's got another goal." Yeah, brilliant. But anyway, that's just the way it is. I mean, Emma, do you think this international break will have had a positive impact on our players? Because, as Matt said there, a lot of them have done great stuff. They, some countries have already qualified. England are not far away from qualifying now as well for the World Cup. So hopefully they can come back refreshed, but also confident and feeling good, because when you've played well, you've won games, yet you feel good, don't you? And that's what we need to bring into this game, don't we? All of them. Really.
Exactly. Well, with regards to international breaks, I mean, this gives our opportunity to take some time off from what's, I say time off, but of course, the international games, the international calendar isn't as tiring for the players and stressful for the mind and the state of the players as the regular season is. Just week in, week out. It's okay. It's not comparable maybe to a Premier League season, but it's relentless in that way. As week in, week out, they have to play. So they have to play to that certain standard and what's required. And sometimes it can take a lot out of you. So the fact that he went away, played with players they also know well, came back, scored goals, did well. Nobody got injured, as Andreas said, was a good thing. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great opportunity. They'll have a few days to come back and now prepare. And as a team, they always seem to enjoy training. And yeah, I mean, now they can do what they can take that back into the rest of the season and play well. And we hope, I hope certainly that has positive impact. And we'll see what happens. But I think it's good. It's always good that they can go away, come back refreshed, and recharge the batteries, and then just for that final push and for the rest of the season and play well again. So I think more often than not, it's actually a positive thing that they have the breaks, even because it gives them that opportunity to come back and what is at times can be a very stressful and full-on season, as we well know.
Exactly. I mean, sometimes, I'm never always in favour of an international break this close to the end of the season because of the potential for injuries as much as anything else. The last thing you need is to lose some key players. But luckily, this particular international break's gone well in that sense, and everybody's fit and healthy and well and ready and fired up, hopefully, for Sunday's game and in front of, as we said, a sellout crowd. I mean, I just think that is incredible that it's sold out. It's just fantastic. Are you going there, Mark? Because I know sometimes if you get a ticket.
I actually didn't buy a ticket. I was unsure because I was still because I tested positive for COVID and then tested negative and then having a cough. I just thought I'd just sit back and watch it on TV, and so I'm not going. No, but hopefully if we get to the final, then we can. Well, like we said, we're hoping to be. I don't want to go off topic, but we're planning on all going to see each other in a few weeks for the Aston Villa game, and then if not, if that's possible, and then maybe who knows, 2 weeks later for the cup final. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'll just sit back and watch it on whatever TV I've got at home that's working and enjoy the game.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's a shame. I'd love to have been there actually. That crowd, with that atmosphere, would be fantastic. I mean, hopefully the Aston Villa game, because that's the last game at Meadow Park this season. Hopefully, there'll be a big crowd. I've already bought me tickets for that as well. So we get a big crowd for that one as well, because that'd be great, wouldn't it? If we, I'm not sure if there'll be a sellout, but hopefully there'll be a big crowd, especially if maybe Chelsea have dropped some points before that game. Week or so, who knows? If we might few more might decide to buy tickets and make it even better, but we'll see what happens with that. There was one other little story that maybe we need to touch on perhaps before we finish. This story about possibly Caitlin Ford's Joe wants to take her over to Juventus. We're hearing. I mean, what are you making of that? Obviously, Joe knows her very well. Got her to Arsenal in the first place. What do you make of that? Do you think that's likely to happen, or what are you kind of thinking? Because she's been playing really well for us, Caitlin, actually, hasn't she, this last 2 or 3 months?
When I read this, I was astonished. never expected a rumor about Caitlin leaving, but when you look at this rumor, it's Joe is the manager of Juve, and Joe was the one to bring Caitlin in. She was besides Sam Kerr, I think she was the first Australian, and then many other Australians came to the WSL. But the rumors came very, very early, and Joe had contact with her for a very long time, and it was him to convince her to bring her in. So he's Australian, so yeah, why not? I'm sure that he would love to have Caitlin at Juve, and maybe they are really trying to sign her. Her contract is running out. But I think in December the danger would have been more evident, and it would have been more likely that she could leave. But now she's settled in the team again. She is really great the second half of the season, and I think she's now 2.5 years in London. But the first year was a COVID year. She had no chance to get settled in the city, and when you see what she's posting on Facebook or Instagram, she's more settled in the town now. And besides her relationship with Leah has still one more year on her contract. So yeah, I don't see her leaving and Leah staying. So yeah, I hope it's only a rumor and she will stay.
Yeah, I mean, I do as well. I mean, I think she's an important player for us, actually. And it would, if we did lose her, then it's going to be difficult to bring someone in to replace her, isn't it? Who can bring the same qualities that she does. Yeah, it would be a shame. And as you said, it may leave Leah's future in a little bit of doubt as well, which would be a shame, wouldn't it? Because we know how great she's been for us as well. So, yeah, that's a little bit of a worry. I mean, Matt, what would you obviously like Caitlin to stay? I know she's not your favourite player, but would you like her to stay if if we could choose?
Well, this is the thing that always annoys me about transfer window rumours. They always come out of nowhere. So I've tried to look just in the last couple of minutes, as soon as you mentioned it, find out where it's come from. From the quotes from Ars blog, Jonas has said, I have no idea if it is true that Juventus are interested, but I'm clear in the club. It's very clear that we want Caitlin to stay as an Arsenal player. That is our ambition. So on top of that, I think it's a rumour for now. There's nothing concrete there. It might just be hearsay. You never know. Never say never. But with a couple of our players out of contract this summer, you never know what's going to happen. So I'll sit on the fence for this one and not dismiss it. But if Caitlin does go, I would hope that Leah stays, because Leah's very vital for how we play. The only other option would be to then play Jordan in that midfield, or Leah Williamson with Kim, and then that would then leave Rafaela and Lottie maybe, or Jen as the centre back pairing. I think we'll see a lot of transfer news over the next couple of weeks. So whether or not it'll be true, it's a hard one to call, that's for sure.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, I kind of said before that I feel as though that sort of the midfield area is the one area that we need to strengthen. And obviously losing Leah Walty would be even more important that we strengthen that area. But we need to anyway. Obviously keeping Leah ideally. I mean, Emma, would you want to keep Caitlin Ford, given the obviously if that became an option, if Juventus was a serious option, would you want us to try to do what we can to keep her? Because I do think she's a good player for us. She's an important player, isn't she?
Yeah, I think she's been a very good addition to the squad since Joe signed her back in February or in 2020. She's shown she's dynamic. She can fulfill whatever role she's asked by the manager. Not only she's a goal scorer, but she's got a great left foot. She plays well on that left side. So she's got great ability to not just to cross, as we saw for Beth's recent goal against Leicester and many other occasions. Of course, I'd want her to stay. I think I'll be sad to see her go, because then I don't know. Let's not think about it. But Katie plays on that side. So it gives an extra option of, say, what if Katie was to get injured or something, who would we have in that forward position on the left? Of course, I'd want her to stay. I think she brings a lot to the team, and and her quality is undeniable. So yeah, I mean, I would definitely want her to stay. I can understand where Juventus they want to take their squad to the next step, but then they've also been linked with Nicole Biller as well. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Andreas would know. Is she a similar type player to Caitlin, or I don't know, but let's see. But I would definitely want her to stay for sure.
I mean, Andreas, is she a similar player then, Bia, would you say?
Nicole Biller is more a number 9 player.
Okay.
She scores a lot of goals, and she's a central striker. There are matches you don't see her for 60 or 70 minutes, and then all of a sudden she scores 1 or 2 goals. But she's not a winger, not such a worker as Caitlin is.
Yeah, I mean, and to be honest as well, I mean, looking at it from our squad point of view, the way that we play now with Vivian and number 10 and Stina up front, Caitlin is another option as a centre forward, which we don't really have anybody else now, do we? I suppose Viv could play there again, but she's another option there as well. I think she's better on the left personally, but she's an option as a centre forward as well. We can make that change during games, can't we? So I think she's an important player for the squad, and I definitely wouldn't want to lose her, but we'll have to see. But as we said there, there's going to be a lot of transfer stuff going on. Certainly once the season's finished, I'm sure we'll be bringing some players in as well. I'm sure we will, because the plan for the women's team seems to be strong at the moment. We're building something, and I think we'll carry that on. Herman says Caitlin should stay at Arsenal. Yeah, we hope so. We really hope she does stay, and let's hope she does. Robert says they're still concerned about Viv's contract. Leah Williamson is Arsenal through and through. Would you say, Matt? Yeah, I think we all agree. She's definitely Arsenal through and through. Leah Williamson's going nowhere. It's Leah Walty that may possibly leave. Caitlin leave, not Leah Williamson. Terry says, I'm back. I haven't missed MMMC or IMR quiz. No, you haven't. We're going to actually get onto those 2 little sections now, always at the end of the show. So what we'll do, we do what we always do. We'll do Emma's question first. While we think about the answer, we'll do Matt's song. So we'll start with. So the question this week is going to be a good one, I'm sure. We're all excited. Obviously, Andreas got it right last week, so the pressure's on Matt to try to fight back.
Yeah, well, today I'm taking you back to school for the quiz question. I know maths is not a strong point for many, but let's see how you get on with this one. So my question today to you is this: if you was playing fantasy football and you use the same scoring system as you have on Fantasy Premier League, how many points would Viv have scored you for her performance against Bristol City back in December 2019?
Oh, yes.
Now, I know barely anything because you've got these double captains now and triple captains and subs and things like that.
So not including using bench boost or chips or anything like that. If you use the standard Fantasy Premier League's point scoring system, how many points would Viv have earned you for her performance against Bristol in that 11-1 win back in December 2019?
I don't even know how many points a goal gets you.
I'll give you the options. I'll give you some options, actually. Like, seeing as you put me in a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire type studio, I'll give you some options. So is it A 29, B 41, C 54, or D 76?
Oh, wow. Andreas, do you know the scoring system on fantasy football?
No, I don't know the Premier League fantasy manager, so I have no idea.
So is it 29, 41, 54, or 76? I've added it up and I've calculated this a few times myself, and I'm pretty sure I've got it right.
Okay.
So that includes points for goals, assists, appearances, and bonus points for performance as well.
Yeah. Right. So we'll have a little think about that, because there's a few figures to add up.
What were the options again, Omar?
So is it 29, 41, 54, 76?
Right. Okay.
Oh, that's a good question. Robert says they have to go, lads. Good night to you, Rich, Andreas, Emma, Matt. Cheers, mate. Don't forget tomorrow for the Arsenal Southampton game, if you're around for a watch along for that one. 2:45, we're going live. Please join me for that if you're around. Right, okay. While we have a little think about that, add a few figures together and try and come up with the correct answer to Amar's fantastic question there. Of course, we can't have a week without this little fantastic section either. So, Matt's chant of the week then. Have you got a good one lined up for us, Matt, while we think about this question?
Yeah. Let's see.
Do we want some music again? Do we need some music, do you think? What sort of music do we need? Would it have to be some dance music or something a bit more laid back for this one, would you think? What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think if we've got something sort of poppy and...
Yeah, we've got a bit of a poppy when it says. I don't know what it's like, so we'll just play a little bit of it first, just to see what it's like, whether you think it will suit.
Nice.
Yeah, that'll work.
Will that work, Rick? Right, okay, go on. In your own time, then. Hang on, I'll put it down a bit. We don't want to drown you out the ring.
She refused to give up. She refused to give in. Arsenal's her everything. We won't give up. We won't give in. So we sing One Love, Leah Williamson, One Love. Arsenal was number 6. All love. Arsenal through and through. We will survive.
That was brilliant. That was the best one.
That's one of my favorite songs as well of all time. That's
one a lot. It's went with the music pretty well as well, actually.
I was just on Twitter earlier, and I was looking through, and there is actually a YouTube, not YouTube, a Twitter page that says Arsenal Women FC chants, and all the chants are up on there. They put a word in, but none of my chants have made it. So
not yet, though. Give it time. I'm sure they'll catch up eventually and get with it. Because
Terry's giving you an 8.
Yeah, they said. Yeah, I mean, I thought that was really good. I thought it went well with the music.
That's being unkind. I'll give him a 9.
Yeah, I thought 8's a little bit harsh. I think that's up there with the best of the lot that way. Yeah. So I'm thinking 9, 9.5 even, because that was pretty good there. And of course, it's about Leah Williamson, who's obviously my favourite player. Yeah. Terry says to go a cappella. No, it's good with the music. It added a good vibe to it, I thought, actually. Yeah. That was a good one, actually. Leah Williamson. Well, what song it is? What I'm going to do is I'm going to clip that and send it to Leah Williamson, so that she can enjoy it before the game on Sunday, which would be good. It might inspire her to get a winning goal, which would be nice, wouldn't it? Because she scored a few this season. Anyway, go back to Emma's math question. You're talking about music. I remember Jen doing an interview on the Women's Football Show a few years ago. Who did she say was a dressing room DJ out of the squad? Did she actually say?
I think it's Lisa. I think it's Lisa.
Lisa. She's gone now. Yeah, Lisa.
Yeah. I think Lisa was before. Yeah.
Back to the serious stuff of my question. Have you guys got any come close to getting an answer yet?
Right. Okay. Well, I'm thinking it's obviously going to be quite a lot of points.
Yes, if you figure out points for goals, assists, appearance, and bonuses.
From what I remember from this game, I'm totally guessing, but I'm nowhere near where one of the answers. I'm like in between one of them, but I think I'm going to have to give my guess. I'm going to guess 41.
Okay, what do you say, Andreas?
I have no idea because I don't know the rules.
Go another wibble dibble.
I can only guess. So it's answer B.
No, he's going to go with B as well. What about you, Richard?
See, I'm not 100% sure of all of the scoring, and I know obviously Viv scored 6 goals in that game and got 4 assists.
Correct.
So she was involved in 10 goals in the game. So I'm guessing for 1 hat trick you'll get a certain bonus points. For 2 hat tricks you'll probably get an extra bonus again. Obviously the assists as well. She would have got player of the match, I would assume, for that game as well. I think it's going to be a lot of points. I'm tempted to go with D76. I know it seems a lot of points. But you have 10 goal involvements, and she would have been player of the match. Plus, all sorts of bonuses for hat tricks and God knows what else. So I think it's going to be a really high number. So I'm going to go for 76 because it's the highest number that's available.
Let's break it down anyway. This is how I worked it out, right? So in Fantasy Premier League, goals for forwards are worth 4 points.
Oh, so close. Right?
I got 3 points. Anybody who gets an assist, anybody, defenders, midfielders, or strikers, assist is worth 3 points.
Right.
And appearance, if you start or play games, you have to play at least 60 minutes. You get 2 points for starting. It's only 1 point if it comes on the bench, but 2 points for starting. And then undoubtedly, because she was player of the match, they award the most number of points they award for. I don't know how they decided, but on the bonus point system is 3 bonus points. So that's how I worked it out.
Would you not have got points for a hat trick as well? Do you not get points for hat tricks?
No, it doesn't. I don't think they award points no matter how many goals you score. I don't think they give you bonus points for hat tricks on Fantasy Premier League.
Oh, don't they?
Yeah, so it's 4 points. 4 points for forwards, 3 points for assists, 2 for the appearance, and 3 bonus points.
So it's 41.
So the correct answer was 41.
Ah.
Oh, well, there you go. Andrew's got it right. I didn't even know what the scoring system was.
Yeah, so 24 points for the goals, 12 points for the assist is 36. The bonuses were 3, 39, and then 2 points for the appearance, 41. There you go.
I think she got an extra 35 points for getting 2 hat tricks. She should actually get 76 points. That's what I think.
See, I think that would be amazing if they could do a fantasy football with the women's.
I think they should. I think they should.
They will. I think they will, actually. I think next season, I think they will. I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
I'd love to see what the prices were. For me, Viv, I'd pay. I think the most expensive striker in men's fantasy football, I think, is, I don't know who it is. I think it's Salah's worth about 13.
Salah or Harry Kane, won't it? I would have thought.
I'll put
usually
Viv,
about 15 million, which is about half of your budget, isn't it? 'Cause your budget's 100 million.
Viv would be at least 10 million for me. So let's see.
If you get a bonus point for
Next season,
celebrating goal, with score 6 goals and gets no
if you don't celebrate a goal, then we'll do the unique Viv celebration. We'll give you some bonuses. Yeah.
No, that's wow. That was the other. See, imagine if you triple captain her as well with 41 points, and you triple
captain now, you get 123. Yeah,
that'd be a good week, wouldn't it? For one player, that's just one player. Don't forget, out of all your whole team. I'd be lucky if I get 123 in like a month usually.
Well, I mean, you're only allowed to pick 3 players per team. So this is where it becomes difficult. If you had to pick 3 Arsenal players in your fantasy team, who would they be? That's very difficult as well. But for me, I think I would pick Leah, Kim, and Viv. But that's difficult.
I would probably pick Viv, Stina, and probably Beth Mead, actually, all the assists she
Beth
gets.
Mead as well, kind of, or even Katie. Katie would be a good cup price.
Yeah, Katie. Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of options, but then I suppose you could look at Chelsea. Sam Kerr's going to be worth a few points because she does score a lot of goals.
Yeah.
They've got 1 or 2 others. I don't know. Beth England will probably get a few points from Fran Kirby when she's fit and healthy to play. We'll probably get a few points. So you get 3 Arsenal players and 3 Chelsea players, and that's most of your team, isn't it? It's just filling them out. A couple of Man United players here and there, and a Man City player maybe. And that's maybe I'll put Lauren Hempel if I could put her in actually, because she'll get a few points.
Or Chloe Kelly.
Yeah, when she's fit again. Yeah, Chloe Kelly will be a good shout as well. So I mean, it would be good actually to have a fantasy team for the women actually, because there's so many great players now in the WSL. That'd be really good actually. It's something that they need to sort out for next season. That would be good. Herman says we're becoming a math show. Well, we've got a bit of math, a bit of music, a bit of general knowledge. It's a bit of everything really. It's pretty good. And Herman says Leah deserves some Handel music.
Yeah.
These cards. Oh yeah, handle music would be good. Unfortunately, there's only about 6 different options that I've got in music I can play. So there isn't any handle music, unfortunately. But that kind of went with that song actually, which was good. So yeah, brilliant stuff again from as always, and a great question that was from Amar. I was saying, I mean, and Jazz managed to get it right 2 weeks in a row, and he didn't even know the scoring. So that was fantastic.
Matt guessed 41 as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was going to be more than that, but anyway. Anyway, there you go. But that was good. That was good fun as always. So that's another Arsenal women's show over and done with this week. I say the FA Cup semi-final, sort of semi-final special. Looking forward to that big game, a really, really big game actually on Sunday, which is I'm sure we're going to enjoy through our hands probably much of it. Every time Chelsea get the ball and come forward, because we know how dangerous they can be. And Herman says no, she's certainly feisty, all right. Yeah, we need to keep her on the pitch, so we don't want her to get. She's feisty and a great player, as we know. So, but yeah, so we're all looking forward to Sunday. It is going to be a very, very tense and exciting game, I'm sure. Great quality there's going to be, and hopefully we can, as certainly as me, Andreas, and Amar have predicted, we come out on top, and we'll pretend that match. So we don't worry about match predictions because we know what we get with match predictions, which is good.
I'm always wrong.
He's always wrong, which is let's hope he's wrong again this week. We certainly don't want him to be right because that would be no fun, would it? So
then again, last time I predicted the 3-0 and we drew 0-0. So
oh well, I mean, a 0-0 draw at 90 minutes will be a disaster, and we can win 3-2 in extra time, as Andreas said, which would be nice. Pretty exciting extra time, wouldn't it? Goals fired in right, left, and centre. But it's going to be great to see Meadow Park full, actually, isn't it? And that's going to be great to see. The atmosphere is going to be incredible, and I say let's hope we can be inspired to beat Emma Hayes again for the second time this season, which would be. Actually, that's an interesting stat that Matt gave us earlier. Actually, it'll be the fourth time we've played Chelsea this season. It'll be in 4 different stadiums as well. That is quite amazing, actually.
That is astonishing.
I bet that's never happened before. In like, 2 teams have played each other 4 times in the same season at 4 different stadiums.
Yeah,
so I'm sure it probably can't have happened. Let's be honest, because you'd imagine at least 2 of those games someone would be at home and they'd be at the same ground. So,
well, if you think about it as well, in the Premier League, City and Liverpool have played each other at Anfield and the Etihad this season. They played Wembley tomorrow. They could also face each other in Paris in the Champions League final. So let's see.
Yeah, that's true. But then, having said that, they would have also played. Didn't they play? Didn't they play one of the? I don't know, haven't they? You're right. Yeah, there'll be one at the Etihad, one at Anfield, one at Wembley, and one at
the Stade de France.
Yeah, they could as well. Yeah, they won't both get through because Unai Emery's going to win the Champions League.
I want Unai to win. I want not now. When is he going to English final?
Unai Emery's going to win it just to annoy everybody.
Oh, they did brilliant.
He still should be at Arsenal because then we might have won the Champions League. But anyway, that's another story for another show, I'm sure, at some point. But no, I mean, you're right. Perhaps Liverpool and Man City might do the same this season. That would be good, wouldn't it? But anyway, it's probably never happened before. And it could happen twice in a few weeks, which would be quite something, wouldn't it? But anyway, yes, that's another great show. Andreas, thank you very much for joining us as always. I'm sure you're looking forward to Sunday. Did you enjoy the show tonight as well?
Yeah, of course. I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed the discussion, and thanks for having me here. It's always a pleasure, and for now, it's the perfect start for the Easter weekend and for a very exciting football weekend, because on Sunday there is in German Cup Bayern Munich versus Wolfsburg in the semi-final.
So that's going to be a good game.
The same clash as Arsenal versus Chelsea, Bayern versus Wolfsburg.
What time's that on?
That's 11:30. That's 11:30. Yeah. Oh, it's a semi-final. Oh, nice.
On Sunday too, but 1 hour earlier. So I'm at the Campus Stadium in Munich, and I will miss most parts of the Arsenal match. And if we win, I will watch it the replay in the evening. And if Chelsea wins again, as in the final,
watch it.
I will ignore the match and don't.
I think one thing you can be assured of is that Wolfsburg won't be winning 6-0 this weekend.
I hope not.
No.
Have you got all your players back from injury and COVID?
Yeah,
now?
I think all the players back from COVID. That's what I was wondering. Yeah.
Yeah, eight players with COVID were out, but they are back now, and hopefully it will be an open match too. But fantastic matches in German Cup and in the English Cup. So what do you expect more? It's the best teams playing in semi-finals.
It's a shame they overlap a little bit, then, isn't it? Really, that you can't maybe watch both games after each other. It's a shame, isn't it, that the kickoffs haven't quite aligned themselves. Or maybe if Arsenal was playing on a Saturday here, like the Man City one, if they'd swapped them over, then it would have been ideal, wouldn't it? But no, it sounds like a great day of football anyway. Fantastic stuff, and I'm sure they'll both be really good games actually as well. And let's see what how the results work out. Hopefully, Arsenal and Bayern Munich double would be nice, wouldn't it? That'll make it. It
would be fantastic to have both in the final.
Is the final on the same day as well? Is the German final on the 15th of May as well?
No, I think the 28th. 28th.
Oh, okay. I'll say that.
And then it's Leverkusen against Potsdam in the other semi-final. Yeah.
They are playing on Monday, so why?
They're playing.
And Bayern versus Wolfsburg on Monday. It would be very.
Why didn't they swap the two anyway? Yeah.
But nobody asked me. They just.
I know. Terrible that. It's terrible scheduling again, isn't it? They don't care about us, do they? When they schedule these matches, they just.
I know why that's on the 28th, because Wolfsburg have got the 2 weeks after that. They're also in May, isn't it? No, I thought because they got the 2 Champions League semi-final. No, sorry, that's later this month. No, I got confused.
Yeah, well, if they get through, if they beat Barcelona, then the Champions League finals. That's the 20? Is that the 22nd of May or something? Isn't it? Something like that.
It's looking like that Barcelona Wolfsburg semi-final is going to surpass the Real Madrid game in the attendance stake, so that could be special.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of the men's
this is the thing, isn't it? You know, women's football suddenly the crowds are getting a lot bigger, aren't they? I mean, we've got an North London derby to come at the Emirates, which that's going to be a big crowd, not as big as it would have been originally, but it's still going to be a decent crowd. That's going to probably be a WSL record crowd. Obviously we've got the Champions League record crowd could be broken in the next week or so as well. We've got a sellout crowd at Meadow Park tomorrow. It's just amazing really what's going on at the moment at women's football. And of course we've got the Euros. A lot of those games are sold out in the summer as well. It's just fantastic stuff that's happening in the women's game.
Time for women's football, exactly, yeah.
It is. It's a fantastic type of women's football, and luckily, from our point of view, Arsenal are at the heart of the good stuff as well, aren't they? Doing well and competing at the top level, so that's always great as well. So, but yeah, brilliant stuff. That actually a great weekend of cup football in England and in Germany, which is great on Sunday. Matt, as well, thanks for joining us again, and thanks for your fantastic song about the fantastic Leah Williamson as well. It was very good. You enjoyed the show?
Yeah, it's been great. It was great to come on again, and just to add on to that, it's been a great sort of season for everyone. The WSL's grown quite a lot through the TV coverage and everything else. Us going through to the Champions League knockouts and Chelsea not. A little bit of an added cherry on top of that. The content that everyone's putting out there on women's football, AWF clips, been amazing, doing comps of all the players, putting out requests from the fans. There's been so many people, and there's been a lot of recognition across the board from all sorts of people. Even Bradley Jaw and Arsenal have gotten involved with the Meadow t-shirts and cups and mugs that you can see. So you can see that it's growing, and there is a real ask for people to see more of the women's game. I was talking to, when I was I work with kids, and a couple of the boys I said I prefer women's football, and they just sort of laughed at me. And but it's all about changing perceptions. If I don't think that I would have probably said that maybe when I was their age, but we're getting there, and we're getting there slowly. But hopefully in the next 5 years, they will see that women's football is up there with the Premier League. It's probably way better than it is at the moment, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I personally think it's more enjoyable to watch, I've got to be honest. I personally feel it is, and and I'm sure a lot of other people as well. I mean, that's not to say the Premier League is not great as well, because I enjoy that as well. But I just prefer watching the women's football at this moment in time. I think it's better to watch. It's a better atmosphere in the stadiums. I just prefer it, and and it is good that the way this season in particular, I suppose because Sky's got involved as well, as helped drive an audience to it as well. And I like to feel maybe that us doing this show at the start of this season all the way through is kind of give other people some ideas to maybe cover the women's game on YouTube as well, a little bit more of the women's team that maybe might not have done so. So it's great that it is getting a lot more coverage, and I've seen there's quite a few shows now on YouTube that do some stuff on the Arsenal. I know you've been on one or two, Matt, haven't you? Which is great.
Yeah, there's a lot more channels now, and it's great to see them all growing and asking for help and things like that. So I think this is just going to grow from here.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. And this is probably going to prove to be when we look back in years to come, maybe a breakthrough season for women's football in a lot of ways. With the coverage, the Sky deal, and everything else, and the fact that the Euros is at the end of this season in England as well probably has added to it all. And the fact that the title race is probably going to go down to the final day as well. It's just excitement all round, isn't it? And hopefully we've got a good FA Cup final to come as well. To look forward to loads of stuff. So it's great, and I think it's good that I say we've I think us for Harry as well, who's been on the show, has contributed to some of that as well. Hopefully, giving the women's team a little bit more coverage that they deserve as well. Amar as well, good to have you back in the UK. You enjoy the show?
Yeah, now feeling a lot better now, and yeah, it's always good to be. Look forward to the game we love the most with you guys, and yeah, it's become like a good part of my everyday life now, and it's really good. So yeah, I mean, I look forward to it every time. Let's see how we do this weekend. Hopefully, we'll have a lot of positives to talk about this time next week. Bring it on, I would say.
Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope so because we've got. I think we said it before. This game could decide not only the FA Cup, but also could decide be important in the league title race as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Terry says there, a great show again, chaps. Have a great weekend. Andreas Amar, MM77. Come on, you women, guys. Good night, all in the chat. Herman says defence is vitally important. It is indeed. Chelsea maybe got a slightly stronger defensive record than we have. Terry says, agree with Matt there, women's football looking good. Indeed it is. And Herman says, right on, Richard, the ladies play a fabulous, dedicated game. They do indeed. It's fantastic to watch. I just really enjoy it. We all do. And that's great. So, yeah. Just coming up on the channel then, tomorrow is obviously the men's Premier League watch-along, Southampton against Arsenal. Big game there. Arsenal need to bounce back from those two terrible games that we've had in the last couple of weeks. We need to get the 3 points for that one. So I'll go live about 2:45 with the team news build-up and that. And obviously we'll go into the game and all your comments in the chat as well. And then, of course, on Sunday, the big one, the FA Cup semi-final for Meadow Park, a packed Meadow Park. So if you haven't got a ticket, you can't go. Join me. I'll be going live about 12:15 with the team news for that one. And obviously a bit of build-up to the game and then 4-match commentary as well. And I'll say all your comments as well. So please join me for both of those 2 big watch-alongs this weekend. Make it a good Easter for Arsenal. 2 big wins will be much needed. And then we can all enjoy Bank Holiday Monday. Weather as well. We can enjoy a weekend, end of the weekend. So yeah, join me tomorrow for the Arsenal-Southampton game, another big game. But of course, we will be focused on the big game on Sunday as well at Meadow Park. That is going to be some game. It is going to be fantastic. And we all think, apart from Matt, we all think we're going to win. And we can all look forward to the final, another final. Maybe that'd be good to play 2 FA Cup finals in one season. That'll be probably a record. No one's probably ever done that before, have they? So, we can break another record maybe this season. Let's hope it's us doing that and not Chelsea. That's what we want to see. So, Emma, hope hope you have a nice Easter, Emma, but I hope you don't enjoy Sunday too much. But yeah, again, will be nice to see. So, thanks again, obviously, to Andreas and to Matt and, of course, to Emma. Thanks to all you guys in the chat as well. Great stuff again, as always. I'll see you tomorrow for the game at Southampton at 2:45. And then Sunday for the big one, semi-final. It's going to be good. It is going to be good. So let's enjoy that. In the meantime, of course, as always, come on, you Gunners. Come on, weekend. Let's win both games. Come on, guys. Reach you tomorrow. See you later, guys. Take it easy.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Jesus said, Paddy, I'm singing so well. It's been coming up.